We'll cut out this.
Oh yeah, this is I'm not gonna keep in us talking about.
Hey, water. Hey, man.
Water.
You need some water?
Swear.
Teaser.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of This Is My Bourbon Podcast, where we discuss the spirit of Kentucky. My name's Perry. Thank you all so much for joining me. And with me this week is half of the home base co-hosts.
What's up?
What's going on, Kurt? Good to have you on. And we have a very special guest. You may know him as the Bourbon Finder on Instagram, a very near and dear friend to my heart.
How you doing, Perry?
That was so cute.
Oh, look, I mean, he looks out for me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
He finds bourbon.
He is the Bourbon Finder.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Swan, the Bourbon Finder, to the show this week. We've been trying to have him on for a while now, and finally just... we had a little cancellation today on half of the co-hosts, and I said, you know what, we'll change things up a little bit and decide we're going to bring Swan on.
Yeah. Switch the entire show.
Oh, yeah, we had a whole plan for it. We just decided that we were going to, throw that out, and we're going to go with something new. So I'm excited for what we have planned. But
yeah.
Me too.
One of them's very special. I was lucky to find it.
Yeah, no kidding. So as we like to do on the show, we drink.
Always a good thing.
So tonight's first pours, Kurt and I are going to wrap up something from the last episode that we did together on 1792. We had talked about this bourbon, the 1792 High Rye, which I have not had before. I'm very excited to try it. Kurt found it. Did you actually find it in
Virginia?
In Virginia, yeah.
So I went up to see my girlfriend, and I went to this random liquor store that... First off, in Williamsburg, they try everything possible to not get you to drink. They sell beer separate from liquor, and it's just messed up. Anyway, so...
You're just going to break down the establishment
in
Williamsburg,
laws.
Virginia.
Yeah, their laws are just crazy. It's just dumb. Anyway, so we walked in, and I wasn't expecting a ton, but then I saw 1792 High Rye, just a bunch of rare stuff that I had never seen before. And I was like, I got to pull the trigger on it. So
oh, yeah, for sure.
That's what I did.
For sure. So we're going to dive into that here in a second. But before we do that, Swan's trying something a little bit special.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
This find was courtesy of him.
That we got to review.
That we reviewed on the very second episode of the show. It's the William LaRue Weller Buffalo Trace Antique Collection 2017 release.
It smells fantastic. I mean, this is fantastic.
And it was one of our higher rated bourbons on the show too.
And
so
it made
far, but
bourbon of the years for us. So.
Yeah, I mean, both of us said it was bourbon of the year, and Swan's just taking his first and only sip. Was that?
No, I still have a little bit left.
Okay.
Still.
Okay.
Gotta cherish this.
Yeah.
Whew, this is gonna be a long finish. This is fantastic.
Yeah, no, it really is.
It was great.
It really
This is great. I can cherish this for another at least 2 or 3 minutes. You guys go ahead.
Just chill out. We'll come back to you.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about the High Rye then while you're.
Yeah, no, this is fantastic. I'm really surprised the proof is as high as it is.
Oh, it drinks very smoothly
yeah.
for as high.
And it's still going. It's still changing too, which is crazy.
Yeah, the complexity on it is just great.
And
there's so many different nuances in it that just really good.
I mean, and we really were almost not ready either for the insanity that was.
No, you guys ramped up pretty quick because I've listened to all the podcasts.
Oh, no kidding.
It's not like you're starting with here's old Fitzgerald. We're gonna ease into this. You guys went straight for the ones that are this is difficult to find, but it's perfect.
Yeah, and I mean we went right from, because our very first episode was the bottle and bond budget battle.
Yeah.
Which is, all lower shelf bourbons, or, bottom of the bottom shelf. And then we went right for,
bottom of the barrel.
Oh, hey. There's
this
a
is like
shirt
the stuff you wait outside the liquor store out in the middle of nowhere for like 4 or 5 hours, camping out, and then you get this bottle, maybe. And you guys
exactly.
went straight to that.
Yeah.
It is fantastic, though. I need to find another bottle of this. I mean, obviously it's going to be later this year, but...
And you've got some of the hookups, too, for finding stuff. So.
Yeah, I do. I have my little hole-in-the-wall places that you just wouldn't expect. I mean, I sent you a picture of one. It's legitimately a drive-through with a open sign, a lottery machine. You walk in, they're like, "Hey, do you want a 175 of Weller 12?" Absolutely.
Well, my favorite one that you've been to was the converted car wash.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he was there like 2 weeks ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's snowing outside right now as we're recording. There's no way they're open right now. I mean, that's the one disadvantage of.
What I'm imagining is like, since it was a converted car wash, just a drive through, like, here we go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
You can drive through. Yeah, it had 2 garage doors and then just like a back office. And you walk into the back office and it's your normal like vodka, cheap stuff. They have shelving all through the right-hand side of it. And then in the very back, there's this one shelf and it's got like Weller 107, Booker's, Stag Jr., just random stuff thrown in the back. And it says on the front door, it's just like, walk-ins welcome. So I start walking in. He's like, "Oh, what are you doing back here?" Just guys just screaming at me. And I'm like, you put the sign up here, bud. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm just reading and obeying what you said, so that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Wanted way too much for it, it's travesty, but it happens.
That's the shame in that store, is that like clearly they didn't put a whole lot into like renovating it.
No.
But it's like stupid expensive.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Oh yeah.
I quite like the high rye, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting it to be a lot spicier than it is, and it's virtually
No, it's super
not
smooth.
spicy at all. There's so much like chocolate on it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it almost tastes like chocolate covered cherries.
Yes.
To me,
And it's just so sweet. And
yeah, it is. I am very pleasantly surprised with how good this is.
I was
Is
too.
that, better than the small batch of the 225th? You like that better than that?
Oh,
Or is it just not comparable?
I definitely like it better than the small batch. I'll say that much. Do I like it better than the 225th? I don't know.
I haven't had the 225th since like you let me try it.
Yeah.
But I don't. I think I would like the 225th a little better.
Yeah, there was. I just remember being a lot. Like finding the 225th and sure this is an easy drinker, but I think the 225 was just so smooth.
Yeah.
Like, all the way through. And I think the 225 was a little bit more complex too than this is. And not that this is like one note or anything, but this just, I don't know. I was so pleasantly surprised with the 225th.
Yeah, it was good. I had some of it the other night, and you talked about kind of finding some apple notes in it, and I definitely got that. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
very, go ahead.
I also think that I guess we can't really compare them, can we?
I mean, we can to a degree because it's
Sort
the
of,
same.
but-
It's the same distillery. It's the same brand.
Yeah,
I
I don't know if we can compare them though.
Yeah, it's a different mash bill.
Just because they changed the mash so
That's
much.
a good point. Okay, so we've decided that we can't compare.
All right, cool.
They're both great, so
Yeah.
we're gonna drink both of them.
Yeah. No, I would definitely drink this over the small batch, though. I would say. I think it's more interesting.
Oh yeah, everything 1792's put out, with the exception of the port finish, I'd grab anytime I see it. I mean, all of it's great.
Still not had the port finish yet.
It's
Yeah,
I mean,
me
it's
neither.
good. It's a little dry, but I mean,
That doesn't surprise me.
yeah, but it's still great. It's on my pickup for sure. Price points are never crazy. I mean, it's good stuff.
It always seems like 1792 is pretty reasonably priced.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the highest that we've seen has been 55 for the
50.
foolproof.
Yeah.
But even then, that's not exorbitant compared to
No, that's not bad at all.
some other
it's
cast strength
definitely
bourbons you
worth
can
it,
get.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
For
full
sure.
proof is really good.
yeah.
I mean, we've said this time and time again on the podcast though too. Like, 1792 just puts out like
Great stuff.
great stuff.
Yeah,
I've never had anything that I've just been like, don't like it
yeah, definitely.
through everything of theirs. So
Swan's over there cradling his last his bourbon glasses.
trying to
It's
get it
going
back.
through right now. This is the best larceny I've ever had, guys.
I know. For those at home, like, we literally have the William LaRue Weller in a larceny bottle because we split it in threes.
Which, and by the way, Tanner has not gotten his yet. His third of it.
Really?
Yeah, so I
might just
have to.
Just so happens I'm
know.
Tanner now.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I will definitely take it.
Welcome back, Tanner.
No, it's great. I can't wait to find another bottle. I love that it changes every year too. The proofs are always different.
Definitely.
I mean, they even had one of the stag releases was like 144. It's crazy.
Wow.
I think Chad actually has a bottle of the 144 proof.
Yeah, it's nicknamed with the hazmat stag.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Whew.
Cool. So before we launch into our topic, which is basically just going to be us drinking for the whole episode, because we've got a very special little rare breed lineup tonight, and I'm rambling. I'm sorry, I lost track of what I was trying to say. As we like to do, we'd like to talk about what we've been drinking recently. So, guys, what y'all been drinking on prior to today? I don't know why I said it that way. I'm sorry.
A lot of
I get nervous.
our store's Knob Creek pick, man. It's so good. That one you guys reviewed on the show, it's great. I mean, it's bad because I hate going back in and looking at them thinking, I'm buying a second bottle of this 120 proof, and it's only been like two and a half weeks.
Yeah.
But it's required. I have to get one. I mean, it's so great.
Yeah, like once it's gone, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we haven't actually done a full review of it yet on the show. We talked about it.
And
And
you guys kind of teased it a little bit there.
Yeah, and Curtis actually wasn't on for that episode either. It was just me and Tanner, and it's really fantastic. It's 13 years old instead of the standard 9 for the Knob Creek single barrel. I mean, it's just... you remember that one Knob Creek pick that I brought to you?
Yeah, it was great.
I think this is better, personally.
They're very close as far as like how I would like them, but they're completely different bourbons at the same time.
Oh
like,
yeah, for sure.
The one that we had is just really dark fruit. I got some like raisins and stuff in it. It almost tastes like a Booker's pick to me, which they're really close.
Yeah.
Anyway, same warehouses and stuff, but it's just great. I mean, you can just put a little bit in your glass and it goes a long way because it is 120 proof, so it sits with you for a while. Yeah, and it's great stuff. We'll probably end up getting another bottle to keep back, just for
special
later.
occasions.
Yeah. I mean, because the normal's what? It's 9. Is it 9
years?
Yeah, and this one's 13 and 2 months. And then I found out we have a second store pick that's also practically the same age. It's off by 4 months. Same part of the warehouse.
Huh.
And it's completely different. I would pick this one 10 times before the other one.
And I've still not had the other pick. But I've definitely had the 13-year one.
Well, there's so many where we're at right now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a Knob Creek pick for every store you go in.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to go pick up this pick and you are in Central Kentucky, head to the Frankfurt Kroger Wine and Spirits. And if you need more information, get in contact with us, and we'll be happy to direct you there. It's not any more expensive than regular Knob Creek single barrel is. I mean, it's still $44, $45.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's worth every penny of it, in my opinion. Kurt, what you been drinking?
I've been sipping on that 1792 full proof, man.
Yeah.
I have, and
It's so hard not to.
literally, and when I say sipping, I mean I'm sipping. Like, I've been kind of dealing out a little to like different people, just like, hey, try this, try that. But so I haven't had a ton of it, but I've been every once in a while being special, just like, let's have some of that. So the 1792 full proof.
He's looking over at his
I'm looking at my liquor cabinet.
Yeah.
The Henry McKenna I've been drinking a lot, but I think I said that last episode.
It's one of our mainstays.
Yeah,
It's kind of hard not to.
So I mean those two. I just picked up Four Roses, just the yellow label, just because
Interesting.
I saw it and I hadn't tried it in a while.
Did you see that they redesigned the yellow label?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
It looks really nice. It looks a lot sleeker than the yellow label does.
okay.
It doesn't look like it belongs on the bottom shelf anymore.
No, it definitely doesn't.
No.
I mean, they haven't changed the the proof or the age or anything on it. Just it looks a lot cleaner and nicer now.
Yeah.
But I'll pull it up for you later to see.
Okay.
I've been drinking. I tried Old Fitzgerald Bottled and Bond last night for the first time. Loved it. I was very much a fan of that. It's way better than the regular Old Fitzgerald Prime.
Yeah. Yes. So it just popped into my mind. Early times.
Yeah, early times bottled and bond.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's so surprising.
I
It
know.
really is.
Yeah.
And it's so good. Again, it's like Heaven Hill bottled and bond, where you are unprofessional.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
No, I'm
Jeez.
It's another high proofer bottled and bond. You know, of course, it's going to be 100 proof, but it's cheap too. I mean, it's only what $22.
Yeah, it's not bad at
It's
all.
not.
And the best thing I found out is like I'll go work somewhere that's kind of a higher class neighborhood. And you walk in there, and of course they've not touched the early times, so there's just cases of this stuff. And it's fantastic. It's so good. It's surprising, and it comes in 1 liters for some reason, which is perfectly fine with me. I'll take a little bit of extra bourbon.
Don't mind me. I'll have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried that at Goodfellas in Lexington.
Oh, at the
distillery district one?
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't get that at the one downtown.
At the little hole in the wall Goodfellas pizza? Yes. No, you can't.
Goodfellas would be a good tips and bits recommendation too. But so maybe we'll come back to that later.
Yeah, I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
That'll be my tips and bits.
I'm finishing up a bottle of Blanton's. I keep talking about Blanton's. I feel like we have been with Henry McKenna too recently, but
we should probably get off the cake at least at some point.
Eventually we will, but we like bourbon. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Keep listening to the show.
What are
That's
you
what
gonna
you're gonna
do?
What are you gonna do? That's enough racist Italian impressions for one episode.
Oh, yeah, maybe. But we were talking about Goodfellas, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, so as you probably know, because you are listening to this episode and you're not sitting in the living room with us as we're recording, Swan makes sure that there's nobody here.
Yeah, check the perimeter, guys.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure we're fine.
All clear.
We are going to be doing not so much a battle between the three rare breed expressions, but just kind of like taking the time to really enjoy the three most recent releases of rare breed, and we're gonna start with the one. It's 108, right?
Yeah, it's 108.2. It says it's the third iteration of rare breed.
Yeah. And to just like to clarify, so we have three. One at what?
One's at 108.2. The other one's at 112.8, and then the last one's at 116.8, and it's the newest.
Okay, cool.
So we got a lot of high proofers for the evening. And I just remembered, too, I completely neglected to ask you, Swan, the important question that we always ask first-timers on the show. How did you get into bourbon?
Oh, man, this one involves Perry. So.
It's a doozy.
Yeah, so...
So everyone sit down, relax.
I don't know
Pour
if it's like
yourself
that, but... I went to Eastern with Perry, and... of course you're 19 going on 20, and first thing that you're going to drink is like what you can easily get your hands on. And at the time, everyone had Fireball, of course. So Perry gets me a little pint of Fireball, and I'm nursing it so gently. No, it was not gently.
I was like,
Swan,
nursing Fireball?
Swan at that point liked to finish an entire bottle of Fireball in one night.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I would start at Babylon and somehow end up in the art building computer lab wondering what happened. Where did I go wrong? But it was, I didn't do it often. It was just like once a month. It's like some sort of monster would come out and just consume Fireball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Swan.
And then I actually left Eastern and picked up a full-time job that I'm still at. And they had me travel. And so, of course, you walk into every single liquor store and you're looking at the bourbon section, and you're out in the middle of nowhere, and they're like, we just got some Weller in. And I'm like, what's that?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Okay.
And I'm just like, yeah, sure, I'll take whatever they recommend home. I have no qualms with any of it. So I pick up whatever they recommend, and I take it back to the hotel, and I'm like, I'll try it straight. It was awful at first. I was like, I can't stand this. Whatever they recommended, I can't remember what it was at first. And
it was probably like... It had to have been like Woodford or Makers back then, right?
Probably, yeah. I think it was Makers, because I wasn't a fan of Makers when I first started drinking bourbon. And I
wasn't
just
either,
mixed it with Coke, just like everybody else, after I tried it straight once, and it was not for me. And then over probably about 3 or 4 months, I just sent Perry a text message out of nowhere. I was like, hey, man, do you like bourbon? I had no idea he was doing all this.
Yeah.
And I was really getting into it. Buffalo Trace was like a staple for me. Elijah Craig, all of those. I was really getting into drinking them with less and less Coke. And eventually it got to the point that I liked it just straight, no ice. It was fantastic. Elijah Craig's still one of my favorites. I think the only thing that I messed up on, this is something that I'd tell people that are just now getting into bourbon, don't splurge for some of the other big bottles unless you really understand what high proof means. Because I think I bought a bottle of 136 proof Elijah Craig, and I got about halfway through it, and I texted Perry. I was like, hey man, you want to try this? Because this is
I can't do this right now.
This is not for me. No amount of ice is helping this.
Which is so funny too, because now Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. And I mean, I would never give up a bottle unless it's the last little bit to let Perry try it or something like that.
Which he's done before too.
Yeah, and I at the time I was like, here's this bottle of 136 proof, one of the better ones they've put out ever, in my opinion. After going back and tasting it, and I just gave Perry like half a bottle.
Nice.
And I couldn't do it.
Just gave it to me.
Yeah. I was like, I can't handle this. This is too much. But ever since then, I'll drink a little bit of bourbon here and there. No crazy adventures like the Fireball Monster.
Well, before you became Swan the Bourbon Finder guy, whatever your title is.
Something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to take off. It was just something to do.
I can't remember exactly how it happened, but I feel like we had been kind of texting back and forth, and I was like, hey, I just tried Elmer T. Lee. And knowing that Swan worked at that Kroger in Frankfurt, I was like, will you be on the lookout for it? And sure enough, they got some in, and he brought it to me. And, aside from me actually, like, paying him back, I gave him a sample of Van Winkle 12.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, boy.
Which was, that I think is kind of where we started to click.
Yeah, I think it was that, too. And at one point, you had messaged me, and you're like, if you ever find any Weller, just let me know. And I was going, store to store looking for this. And it was when they still had the old label. Mm-hmm. So, of course, you go into every store, and you're like, oh, check it out, they have Weller. No, it's very old Barton. My bad. I mean, you just did that over and over again. And, then you try a very old Barton, and it's still good. Don't get me wrong, but it's
okay.
not Weller.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, by no
so
means.
I picked some of that up finally for Perry and ended up trying it myself, and it was great. But I found you a few bottles now.
Yeah, you've been very good to me.
Yeah. Your eyes were like saucers when I got you your first Weller 12. So.
Oh, man. That was such a serendipitous moment for me, knowing that I could take it home and not have to pay $20 at a bar for a shot of Weller 12. Could have whenever I wanted. But it was such an interesting transition, too, between you being like a bourbon drinker and then all of a sudden kind of being a bourbon hunter. And not that, you're going out every single day and
no, I go out like once
stores.
a week, maybe twice.
Yeah.
I got here like an hour early and just went to a couple stores before coming here. I mean, it wasn't nothing crazy. A lot of it's just getting down like truck schedules. Like if you know that, Liquor Barn here is going to get it on Friday or something, you show up when they get their delivery and first come, first serve, and usually you find what they have. Huh. They don't always get allocated a whole case, so sometimes there's just like mixed bag of goodies, and you can pull one or two things out.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, that's like a cool insight to how just liquor store works in general.
Yeah.
Just like, you're not going like, I want, a pallet of this, a pallet of that. It's like, we'll give you what we want to give you.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. They all work with reps, and they'll tell them usually in a day in advance, like, hey, you're going to get some Weller tomorrow. So if you want to tell a couple people, you'll sell it quick. And even then, it may just not come in. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I know that, like, at least the one I've, like, helped work at, I don't work at it all the time, he's told me before he orders, like, 999 cases of Weller 12 every week. Of course, he gets nothing.
Yeah.
But that's just that's how it works. It's crazy.
Okay, then. And eventually, he's going to wind up with 999 cases of Weller, and he's going to go, I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah,
that is a great problem to have.
I mean, it depends on the store, sure, but,
But it's different for every store. Some people only get allocated so much. Like some stores will get more Pappy versus less at the end of the year, or more BTAC versus less. It's kind of a crapshoot when you go in.
Yeah.
Every time they've got little to no control over what they're actually getting.
Will you move the mic a little bit closer to you? That should be okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Welcome, Barry.
I appreciate that. I had a question.
And it's also cool, like, it's a totally different world compared, like, we do the podcast and we, we drink the bourbon. We drink the bourbon.
We drink the bourbon, and you listen to us
and
drink
you listen
the bourbon.
to us talk about drinking the bourbon. But it's like a totally different world from podcast to, like, actually going and finding the bourbon.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I think is so cool.
Yeah, and I mean, there have been plenty of days, too, where I've gone out and, bourbon hunted as well.
You do something I'm jealous of.
Which is?
Can I mention this? I can go find stuff that's coming out. Like, if I want to go find Weller Special Reserve...
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
I'll get it.
Okay.
But then Perry will send me a text message of, I found this bourbon that no longer exists, and I have an entire handle of it. And then I'm like, where did you go to get this? He's like, it's one of those places you can still smoke in the building, and it's kind of somebody's basement.
No, it's not.
Almost.
It's not what you're thinking of. It's another store in Richmond.
And I'm just wondering, like, where the hell did he go to find this stuff? And he's getting, like, Jim Beam Choice, Old Forester that's no longer available.
An older Old Forester bottle that doesn't exist
even the
anymore,
Old Fitz bottled in bond, that's not, they don't make that anymore.
Yeah.
And he's just finding it. And I can't do that. I went out one time, and now we're doing a whole episode over the one bottle I found they don't make anymore. Like, that's how hard it is for me to find this stuff. But he finds it, like, it's just easy. So, I don't know.
I mean, it's so funny because Richmond specifically, sure, there are plenty of people who go out and hunt for bourbon. Or there are those who are, avid bourbon drinkers that constantly go to these stores and spend so much money at particular stores every week. So they get first dibs on everything new that comes in. But you really have to kind of search for the honey holes.
Yeah. And that's the niche too. And like, you're going to have those cities, like, not to make it specific to Richmond, like, you're going to have those cities that, like, that's why you're getting all those old bourbons that they aren't being made anymore.
Yeah.
Because nobody's drinking them. That's not the like geographics of what they want. People are drinking. So, like, that's why you're getting those. Whereas like those liquor stores in Richmond, they aren't getting the, like, we're getting Weller, we're getting,
And some of them do, but they don't get them in the same capacity that Lexington does or Frankfurt does. Frankfurt is home to Buffalo Trace. So, Swan's Kroger store is basically right down the road from Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, I live about 5 minutes from Buffalo Trace.
Huh.
Every Wednesday, the mash, you can smell it. The whole town smells like mash.
That sounds amazing.
So there's another thing. I guess it was almost nostalgia. So you get to 21 and you're like, it smells like home. This is great. This is good.
That's funny.
So I think that's enough of Swan talking about bourbon. I'm just kidding. Let's drink some more. We're gonna start out with the. And by the way, we're gonna be reviewing, I think, every single one of these too. And it could be that we all just give them the same score all 3 times. But it is 3 different proofs. So I'm interested to see how they compare between the 3 of them. But we are gonna start with the rare breed. The Wild Turkey Rare Breed 108.6, right? 0.2. Okay.
Yeah.
I know you've said it like 3 times tonight, but it just goes to show how much I haven't paid attention to it.
We'll see.
And we're using different glasses from what we just drank out of, just so we don't get angry emails or anything.
Mm.
Which, surprisingly, we haven't gotten any angry emails yet.
Huh?
We haven't gotten any emails.
We've gotten a few special emails.
We've gotten good emails though. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
So that's good.
That's a different conversation for.
I don't know how much you guys want, considering they're all pretty high proof.
Yeah.
Be conservative with it.
Yeah. Okay. So is that enough?
That's plenty. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah. Now this is the first pour out of this bottle.
Yeah.
First shot
so
reveal.
All of these are either going to be opened now, or they've been opened within the last week.
Okay.
So they're all pretty fresh. They haven't been sitting for a long time.
Right off the bat, the color is really nice on it.
Oh yeah.
It's not super dark. It's not, it's very like what you expect bourbon to look like in the.
Yeah.
It's not that mellow corn I brought in.
Definitely not.
Swan brought some mellow corn in for us to sample. I'm scared.
Yeah. We aren't sure if it's actually bourbon or not. Might not be. I don't know.
It's not bourbon.
No.
The nose is really nice on it. It's a little thin, but
yeah, I think that's just because I already expect rare breed to be barrel proof, and like this is getting into the territory of I don't know if I would even call it barrel proof.
Yeah.
It's always been interesting to me, and I was thinking about this on the way over here too. How did their barrel proof change so many times?
I don't know. I mean, if it was barrel proof, you think it would be inconsistent from every single batch.
Right.
And their batches are humongous. I mean, like every barrel would be different.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's no definition on small batch, I guess. Could be one barrel to the entire warehouse.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And maybe it's just this, like why their proofage has switched so much and why they did 3 different ones is like they probably came out with this one. Somebody probably said like, or multiple said like, oh, it's not strong enough. It's not,
Yeah.
And then eventually it just got to the point like, okay, fine. This is a good number for us to say barrel proof.
And then somebody else said that's not high enough, and then they went higher than that too, and everything. But,
I mean, which is totally like no facts backed at all.
Oh no, yeah, we're just kind of shooting at this one. So let's take a first sip of. Kurt's already done it. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
Be honest, man. You can feel all 108 on the proof.
You definitely can.
For sure.
Definitely.
But that for me is about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had rare breed before. I've had the 2 higher proofs before, and I mean, I haven't had a whole lot of problem with the proof.
Yeah, with the heat. This is what I'm getting a lot of the heat.
I'm getting like
more heat,
mostly heat.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like decipher
what else is going on.
What else the flavors are.
I mean, you guys just did the high rye, and I did the Larceny, William LaRue, and that's like 129, and this has got way more heat.
Oh, completely.
I mean, that's just nuts to me. I mean, that's almost 20 proof points lower or more, and you feel every bit of this.
We lost Kurt for the rest of the episode.
Oh,
it's been fun, and this has been the show, you guys.
Oh, it wasn't even the high proof that got me. I just was like went down the wrong way.
Yeah. That happens.
But I totally agree with the William LaRue Weller. You're gonna get that heat.
Yeah.
But it doesn't taste like it. It's just it's a warm like feeling that goes down.
Yeah, it's that Kentucky hug everybody likes almost.
Yeah.
You get that.
Yeah.
It's in the middle.
And this it has like more. It's just it hits you.
Yeah.
It surprises.
And we did just open this bottle, so it's possible that it could be it hasn't had enough time to aerate. But I mean, even still, I don't know. The finish is pretty nice though. I mean, I think the finish is probably one of the things that I enjoy the most about it.
Yeah, the nose didn't smell aggressive, but the taste sure is.
Yeah, for sure. And there are still some good flavor notes on there too. They're just really kind of hidden underneath the heat.
Mm-hmm. You have to get past that.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to have a couple more sips before you can really understand what else is going on. But
now the second sip for me was a lot better.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I agree. But it was also like...
Go ahead.
The second sip, when it first hit, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm getting those flavors. And then it just went to heat again.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you eat spicy food and it just slowly builds up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. which I'm hoping the third it's just like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of like cinnamon candy.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know, man.
That heat's definitely there, man.
The heat's really kind of it's what's gonna keep the score down for me.
Yeah, it's a
I
bear.
think.
Yeah. I think it's good. I mean,
Yeah, it's definitely not bad. It's just if I'm gonna have something this high proof, I want there to be something else with it. So I don't know.
I guess when I want something this high proof, I don't want it the forefront to just be the heat.
That's what I'm saying
Yeah.
too. Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and review this one.
Yeah.
If y'all don't mind. If you haven't listened to the show before, we have a 4-category review system of nose, palate, finish, and price. Each category is out of 5, and at the end we tally them all up for a total score out of 20. We are just now realizing that it's best for us to take our numbers down because we can't ever seem to remember them or know our math. So I'll go first on this one because I'm pretty confident in how I feel about this. I'm gonna give the nose a 2.5. Really, I mean, it's fine, but there's just nothing that really entices me and makes me think that it's going to be that enjoyable. I think I'm going to give the palate a 2 because it takes, I think, a little bit too long for all the goodness to come out. Finish, though, I'm going to give a 3.5 because, like I said, I think the finish goes on for a long time, and everything that I think that the palate wants to be, the finish is. And the flavors that I was kind of hoping for ramp up a little bit with the finish. And before I get to price, what'd you pay for this? And this is a 375 milliliter bottle too.
This is so this was actually a little more expensive than the 112 that I had. This one was right at $27. And I was willing to pay that because it was older. You know, you're not going to find it again. But the ones right behind it were the 112.8, and they were the same price. And I honestly got the one that I have, the 112 here. It's also a 375 for $15.
Ooh.
So I would probably say 15 for both.
15 for both?
If you just want to keep it fair.
That's fine. And if that's the case, I'd give the price of 4.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, for one, this is no longer in production. 2, if you like Wild Turkey, this is an experience for you to have, especially, you know, because you're going to get more of the overall flavors that are supposed to be present in Wild Turkey. The only thing that would keep me from giving it a 5 is just that it wasn't a super enjoyable experience, you know, for me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give the price of 4, and that brings me up to, hold on, let me do quick math. 4.5, 8.5, 9, 12 out of 20. So.
All right, I'll go next
okay.
on, man. I'm gonna be a little more blunt than you are, I think, with this.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so
Good.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nose.
See, this is what happens when Tanner's not here. We have to have somebody else in to.
Yeah, and it's just because I'm such a big rare breed fan that this kind of hurt me a little bit.
It does.
Physically and mentally.
Do you need to lay down for a little bit or something?
No, I'm fine. So the nose, I'm gonna give it a 2 for the nose. I mean, it was just there. It wasn't enticing or anything.
Yeah.
Palate, I'm gonna only give it a 1.
Wow.
Yeah, I was not a fan.
That is intense.
It's just too much heat up front.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing but heat unless you take, 2 or 3 sips and finally get into some of the flavor. But even then, you got to look for it. See, what's the next one there?
Finish.
Finish was okay. I'm going to give it a 2.5. It was decent. Palate kind of ruined it just a little bit before he got there, but it was still decent. Finally got some of the wood at the end of it, which was good.
Yeah.
And then price, I'm going to give it, that one's still pretty good. I'm going to give that one a 4.
Cool. So what's that round you out total-wise?
So it was 2.
That was 2. Palate was a 1, so 3, and then finish was a.
It's 9.5.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting. We don't have.
That takes rank for lowest. Yeah.
We don't have a whole lot of sub 10 scores that don't fall.
I mean,
below
you can
like
even
a 7 or a 6.
I was super excited for this, and it's not holding my expectation, if I'm honest.
I agree. I mean, it doesn't hold my expectation of it either, especially when having the Wild Turkey Rare Breed, the 116. The 116 to me, and I hope it comes up back to that.
Yeah,
to me,
for
like
sure.
the 116 is really, really good. But so I'll go into mine. On nose, I'm gonna give it a 3. I thought it had kind of the nuances of it, and I could smell the differences in some of the flavors of the bold, the spicy,
Sure.
this more the sweet. Palate, yeah, I mean, I gotta go like a 2.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 and 2. Finish, nothing really there with me. I mean, it was there a little bit, nothing great. So a 2, and then price, I gotta give a 4. So altogether, that's 4. That's 7. That's 11.
Yeah.
Out of.
So I did 12.5. Swan did 9.5.
Yeah.
Right, and you did 11.
Yeah.
So I mean I think that's pretty fair because, and what's interesting to me too is that we all gave it a price score of 4.
Yeah, I mean the price it's there.
I mean,
It's
yeah.
good.
I mean, if you can find it, and you're probably not going to, but if you can, snatch it up. I mean, somebody's going to want to buy it from you, probably.
Yeah, for sure. If nothing else, this is a collector's item at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something you can keep on your shelf. If you had all of the rare breeds together, that'd be.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just
That's
like,
a really
this
cool
is it.
collection piece for sure. Yeah. Well, do you guys want to try out the 112 then?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I think the overarching review is just that it's just heat.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
You just get heat.
That's not the right glass. This is the right glass. Okay. Wait, how are we doing this? We going different glass? Let's do different glass.
Yeah, we'll go different glass. We have enough.
That's fine.
I finished off of that.
Bit of a stank face there from
Yeah.
Swan. And so I don't know exactly when they switched over from the 108 to the 112.
I don't either. I couldn't find any dates on it, and they did something kind of weird with this last one. They kept the bottle from the 112 to the 116,
Mm-hmm.
and then halfway through the 116, they made a new bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the exact same. You had to look at the proof on the top.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, it was like same label and everything.
Yeah, it didn't change anything other than one number.
Interesting.
Yeah, very bizarre. And we've one of the reasons that we're doing this too. I probably should have said this up front, but whatever. One of the reasons that we're doing this too is because a while back I had asked Kurt if he had tried
Everywhere.
That's bizarre. If he had tried, can you actually pass me a glass? If he had tried, I'll get this sentence out this time. The different expressions of rare breed to see if he could tell any difference. And I guess based on, like, so far... Oh, I poured way too much. Shoot.
You're going to be having a good night.
Here. I don't think this is going to work, but we'll try. Okay.
Okay. Okay, that's much better.
Sort of.
Well, it'll be fine. Anyway, he hadn't tried them all before. I wanted to, have this episode so that we could actually compare and see if there was any difference between the expressions. So we are on to the 112 proof
Yes.
of rare breed, and maybe I will be able to talk eventually on an.
I don't know. The amount you poured, I don't think that's going to happen. It's only downhill from here.
Yeah, you'll be good for the next 10
Swan,
minutes or so.
somebody's going to have to take a little bit of this. I still have to drive.
Yeah, he can take it.
Okay. We may be at Curtis's house, but Curtis still has to drive too.
Yeah. It's
And you have work tomorrow, so.
Oh, whatever.
Well, I'll say the nose is
The
about the
nose-
same.
Yeah, nose isn't much different.
If anything, I get more of the ethanol in the nose.
But the taste is the palate is so much.
Palate's
better.
way better. Oh. Yes.
Yes, that's 10 times better.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I forgot that bourbon was supposed to have caramel until we went to this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, isn't there supposed to be some sweetness to bourbon?
My goodness, that is
Some
so
caramel.
good.
Some hazel.
Something a little bit more complex than just, water and ethanol.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's still got the burn, don't get me wrong, but it is not nearly as pronounced, especially at the forefront on this one.
Well, I think what's
I know.
important about this one, too, is that the heat kind of complements
Yeah.
the flavor. Like, it's not, it's not working against the flavor. It's actually, trying to mesh well with it. Excuse me. I like this quite a bit.
Yeah, it's good.
I haven't had the 116 yet, but I kind of hate the 112 isn't around anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I snatched up quite a few of them, because I liked the 112 a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really good.
The finish could go on a little bit longer, I think. The finish just kind of...
It fades off quick.
Yeah, it does, but I mean, it makes me want to go back for another sip.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is...
100 times better.
I really, really, really like this. Before I even get to like my review, I definitely recommend going out and finding this.
If you can find this, you should snatch that up real quick.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
this is great, and I mean, still the old style bottles are going away. So, and actually, I think Wild Turkey just did away with the Kentucky Spirit bottle, the one that looks like a turkey tail.
Oh,
Seen
really?
that? Yeah, they're supposed to be getting rid of that here pretty soon.
So are they not gonna have Kentucky Spirit at all anymore, or are they just getting rid of the bottle
They're
design?
going to put it in something that looks a little closer to like the Russell's bottle.
Okay. So it'll still be Kentucky Spirit, but not
yeah.
that
But
bottle.
I mean, now there's a couple things that Wild Turkey's putting out that you can go out and grab. Like even the old style 101 bottles are out there.
Yeah.
And those are kind of hard to find, but again, if you're looking in the right place for them, you can find them.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, who wants to go first on the review on this one?
I'll go.
Go for it.
So the nose, I mean, I think I got to give it the same score as the other one. I think it's about the same. So what was that? Nose, I gave it a 3. Palate, I'm going to give a 3.5. So that's at 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
And then finish, actually, we're going to switch that. Palate, I'm going to give a 4. And then finish, I'll give a 3. Price wise, what would you?
Same price. It's 15 for the 375.
Same, yeah, okay. Price, I got to give it a 4 as well.
Yeah, I agree on that.
So what's that come to?
I don't know. I wasn't doing the math.
sorry. I should have done that. Nose, I gave it a 3. Palate, I gave a 4. Finish, a 3. So 6, 10, 14.
14 out of 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Swanee, you want to go next?
Yeah. So the nose, I'm gonna leave that at a 2. I mean, like you guys said, there's really not anything more going on in the nose. The palate, I'm gonna give a 4. It was considerably better. I got some caramel and stuff in there finally after I had the last one, and then the finish, I'm gonna give it a 3. I think it was pretty good. Could have gone on longer, like Perry said.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not super complex, but it's a fantastic one note that I'm getting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really
Definitely.
good stuff. And the price 4, so I'm agreeing with you, man. Got the same
Yeah.
thing.
I think that's a good score.
Oh, I mean, spoiler's going to give it the price of 4 as well, because, I mean, it's...
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean, it's the same.
It's great.
I mean, it is what it is. It's so cool to be able to find that for $15
Yeah.
and have it be that high quality.
Mm-hmm. And I think we're giving a little nostalgia to the... I mean, not nostalgia.
Sure, yeah.
But I guess, like, you can't get it anymore. It's the past.
But even still, I mean that's that still I think is giving credence to the quality of the bourbon.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
also can't get the one we had before either, and I was
Yeah.
not ecstatic about that.
True, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd much prefer the 112 so far.
Definitely.
And the 112 was only when they switched from the 112 to the 116.
I think it was earlier this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't because
Earlier in 2018 or 2017?
2017, my bad.
Yeah.
It's a new year.
we're still trying
It's
to
okay.
get.
I'm still writing
poured that
2017
extra
on
bourbon
checks
in my
and
cup,
everything.
man.
Yeah, I know. Because I got that bottle for Father's Day of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
it's
cool
just
story about
recent,
that too.
Which go back to episode something or other.
I don't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah, I think it was when it was just you and me, and we were talking. It was the Christmas bourbon.
Oh yeah, I think it was too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's got a bottle signed by Jimmy Russell,
Mm-hmm.
of the 112 Rare Breed, which is
Yeah.
super cool.
Cool.
You know, and if you want to break into his house, his address. I'm just kidding. So what was the total on your score, Swan?
Same thing.
Same thing. We had
Oh,
the
same
exact
thing.
same score.
So it was gosh dang.
Was it 3-4-3-4?
3-4, 3-4.
Oh, 14 out of 20.
14. Yeah.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah. Okay, so cool. You guys both gave it 14. For me, the nose just didn't really deliver. Again, it just had so much heat on it that it just wasn't worth it to me, I think, nose-wise. Palate, though, I gave it a 4 because it was just so enjoyable. I mean, it almost reminded me of the Henry McKenna that I like so much that we tried.
Really?
Yeah.
The one that you and I were like raving about.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's not quite to that level, but I mean,
Okay.
it's got a lot of the same characteristics that made me love it so much.
I didn't get that. Just gonna be.
That's fair. Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I didn't get that at all.
So
I thought it was really good, but I didn't catch that like earthy grass
that we
like,
loved so
that
much
we love
about
so
it.
much about
Yeah.
bourbon.
Yeah, and I mean, I still get some of like the earthiness of it, but it's not prominent enough to really really compete with the Henry McKenna that we loved. So anyway, nose was a 2, palate was a 4. I'm gonna give the finish a 3. And like I said before, like it's not a great finish, but it does make you want to go back and take another drink. And I think there's something to be said for a finish that provides that experience for you. And then again, price is a 4.
Yeah.
So it gives me a total of 13 out of 20, which is not too much higher than it's 1 point higher than what I gave the 108. But oh well.
Yeah. I mean, I think comparatively, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, overall, this is a much.
What ruined the Rare Breed 112, or sorry,
108.
108
Yeah.
was the heat. That's what
Yeah.
ruined it.
Yeah.
The palate, there was
Sure.
nothing there. It was just straight heat.
Mm-hmm.
So you take that away, you up it a point or two.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, this is, by and large, a better bourbon. Than,
I'm hoping it gets progressively better because this new one I like to rave about. It's definitely one I recommend to people.
and you do rave about it quite a bit.
yeah, it's
too,
one of
so.
my favorites.
And with that, should we move?
I say, well, let's move on to our final bourbon of the evening.
All right. Maybe, unless we want to try the other special.
Do you want to take a quick little break in the middle, like a intermission?
Oh, for what?
Yeah,
For Rare Breed?
We can do that for sure.
Wait, what are you talking
What are
about?
you talking about?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Are you talking about taking a break in? Oh wait. Oh, never mind.
I'm talking
I get
about
what you're-
after the Rare Breed.
after the Rare Breed, trying the other thing.
yeah.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine. We're square.
Oh,
Guys, don't fight over the mellow corn like this. We can try it another time.
okay. I wasn't meaning.
Sorry,
meaning that.
I know how enticing that mellow corn is, especially based on appearance. But
So yeah, with that, let's move on to 116.
yes, please. So I'm swirling the 116 around a little bit to
Yeah.
aerate it, but okay, the nose is definitely better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Is it though?
Oh, it definitely is. I'm not getting the
You better-
ethanol.
No, the ethanol's definitely gone away. I get more of what I got on the palate of the last one.
Exactly. Which is awesome that you're getting the flavors from the palate on the nose before you even taste it.
Yeah, I get more of the like what you would want the nose to be this time, but I still the ethanol is still kind of overwhelming for me. And it could be the glass that I'm drinking out of, but we can't always be drinking out of Norland glasses, can we?
Nope.
No, especially when you break them. Like me.
Which, by the way, Swan has done.
Oh yeah, it was great.
It's unfortunate.
Oh man.
Huh.
What do you think? Because I think I enjoy this better.
I think I like everything about this one better except for the palate.
Really? I think I like everything better except the finish.
Here's the thing for this one for me. I think this one is more consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I would give the same maybe not. The finish is starting to creep back up on me. Overall, I think that I would prefer this one kind of as and it's not really at 116 proof an everyday sipper, but I would probably go to this one more often than I would the 112.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I like the palate on the 112 better, like Swan said. But I just think that this one overall is a very... It's a much more solid experience.
Yeah. From start to finish, it's...
Yeah.
So it's like, to me, it's almost like they built on what they had. Like they had the 108. They're like, okay, we need the palate to be better. So they added the palate in. And with this one, they finally were like, okay, we got to add the nose in now.
Yeah, we got to
It's
keep it
crazy.
consistent. Yeah. And I think it's a great move on what they did on transitioning from these proofs.
Yeah, I agree.
Each time they have made it better. And this one, personally, I think this one is better than the other two.
Mm-hmm. I like this one a whole lot, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I like how long it takes me to understand what's going on and really experience it and everything. But
The finish didn't drop off quite like the other one.
oh no, not at all. And on that note too, I mean, really for me, the finish just kind of keeps building and building. And I mean, even after that, really just that first sip, it kind of exploded towards the very end, I thought. But I like it.
Same. All right, well, there's that.
Anyway,
Okay.
yeah. So
I'm
Good night.
Curtis. He's Barry.
yeah, I'm Perry.
He's Swan. And this is our bourbon cocktail.
Good night.
Yeah. You want to go?
No, because I haven't written my scores down yet. Is anybody else?
No, I was the one that recommended it. I didn't write any of them down.
You haven't written a single one down yet?
No, I think I got it, though. I know it's
Okay.
9.5 and 14. What it breaks down into, I have no clue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nose. Oh, I'm just going to go out.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I'm going to do it as we go. The nose, I think I'm going to give a 4.
Okay.
The nose was a ton better than well, not a ton. I wouldn't say like crazy a ton better, but
Yeah.
I'll give it a 4. It was better than the past two that we had tried. You got more of those bourbon flavors, the caramel, the sweetness, a little bit of the like spice and heat that you're looking for.
Swan, what'd you pay for this, by the way?
This, the bottles are right at 36 to 40.
Okay. Good deal. Sorry. Go ahead, Kurt.
Yep. Palate, I will give a 3.5. So I think I will agree on the palate was better on the 112.
Yeah.
I think it was. I think it was.
Yeah. It just seems like the palette on the 116 didn't quite deliver the way that I wanted it to, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree. And then finish, we'll give it a 4. And then price, we said price was what again?
35, 36? Is that what you said, Swan?
For
It's like 35 to 40, but this is the 750, so it's a full fifth. The other ones are half of that.
I'll give it a 4. Yeah.
4s across the board on prices.
Yeah, exactly. I think they both they're well placed in what the price is.
Yeah, for sure.
Overall, I think it's a really good bourbon. I think it's everything I want in a bourbon too.
Definitely.
Where it falls off on me is the palate. It's not as not as complimentary as I would like it to be.
Yeah, I agree.
So altogether, that's 4, 8, 16. Is that 16? No, that's 12. Jeez.
Wow. Way off.
15 and a half is what I gave it.
Okay.
So.
Oh, that's not that way off. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'll go next. I gave the nose a 3 because I think that it did kind of smooth out the ethanol on it, while still bringing some of the smells.
Yeah. I think honestly, I think the high proof is starting to get to us a little bit.
Just a tad.
Yeah.
Anyway, the nose was better than it has been so far. Again, the palate just didn't quite deliver the way that I wanted it to. It wasn't bad, but it was just it was just right in the middle for me. So it was a 3. Finish I really, really like. I think the finish was a 4. And like I said, it just kind of keeps evolving for me and exploding towards the end of it and everything. And then the price I gave a 3.5, which is like, I think for $35, $36, there are other bourbons out there that you can spend less money on that are more well-rounded. Like Henry McKenna Single Barrel, I think is a more well-rounded bourbon than this is.
True.
And it's still higher proof. It's more than the standard 90, so it's...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But, I definitely think you should try it. I'm not saying you shouldn't. But...
It's definitely a recommended for me.
Yeah. I think that people need to give it a shot.
If you're introducing yourself to higher proof bourbons.
That's a good entry point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that before. But overall, I gave it a 13.5 out of 20. So this is rare for me. Like, everything fell under a 15. But I'm not saying don't try these. I'm just saying, maybe try other things first.
Yeah. And like you were saying, you were thinking more well-rounded bourbon.
Yeah.
As far as this is a higher proof bourbon,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something to take into account.
Yeah.
As well.
Definitely. Swan, go for it.
Gave the nose a 3.5. It definitely had way more than the other two did. I definitely got some of what I was about to taste. The other ones were just pretty much heat. Palate, 3.5. I gave the other one a 4. It's really, not a huge difference, but I did like the palate better on the 112.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And finish, I actually really liked the finish on this one.
Yeah.
It wasn't complex, but, like I was saying earlier, it was a great one note. I gave it a 4.
Yeah.
Price, 4, obviously. That's been the standard for all of this. It's a really good introduction to high proof. I think if I had to pick cheaper but high proof to introduce somebody to, it'd be between this and maybe like Old Granddad 114 or something like that.
Definitely.
Those are my go-tos as far as just trying to get something cheap but not your standard 85 to 90 proof bourbon.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely, I totally agree with. On introducing someone to higher proof bourbons, I think this is totally a go-to just because your price is going to be reasonable at 35, 40.
Definitely.
Whereas if you're trying to get a higher proof bourbon, usually they're up
Yeah, like I'm not gonna.
They're
hand
more in the
somebody,
40 to 50s.
I'm not gonna hand somebody Stag Junior and be like, "You're gonna have a great time."
Exactly.
That one's gonna be a little rough.
And they might have a good time,
They could, but that
but
one's
they're also going to have a really
intimidating.
horrible morning.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so what was the total on your score there?
Total on that was
Quick math.
15.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So 15 for
15
Swan,
and a half.
15 and a half on Kurt, and I gave it a 13 and a half.
Yeah.
So I think overall, yeah, it is a recommendation from us.
And I like that the one that I preferred is the most recent. That's
Most
that's
readily
great.
available
Yeah, that's gonna be
for now.
fantastic. For now, yeah.
Give it a couple of years, it'll be 120 proof, and we'll all be
Yeah.
going. Well,
Give it a year, it'll be 121 proof.
yeah,
We'll have to
exactly.
somehow figure out how to do all four.
Just tack it on at the end of this one, right?
Yeah.
We'll just have to rent a cabin or something so we can all be in one place. and not have to
We
drive.
definitely need like 2 days to just. Like,
Oh, for sure. I mean, this probably should have been a a longer period of experimentation, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that kind of wraps up not only our main conversation for the show, but also our review portion.
Yeah.
So as we like to do, we're going to move into our famous segment, Tips and Bits, where we like to recommend things to people that we might have been enjoying recently.
High proof.
High proof bourbons.
High proof. Wow.
Swan, since you are the guest and the first time, guest.
Oh yeah, first
Jeez.
one here. Supplier of the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I love that. We should definitely.
supplier of the
We,
podcast.
we
Podcast
should
supplier.
definitely credit that at the bottom of
Oh, we will.
almost
We will.
everyone. Just be like,
we definitely
supplier
will.
of the podcast, Swan.
Honestly, I've been watching a lot of podcasts recently, and one of the ones that
You've been
I've
listening to a bunch of podcasts.
watching.
Watching?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Rooster Teeth podcast. It's been awesome.
That
Those
is a video
guys,
podcast. That's true.
they're really good. I love their format. And all of their stuff's off the cuff. Some of those people share way more than they need to, but it's interesting, at least. And then I've also been watching something I told Perry about the other day. It's called Like a Version.
Okay.
So it's basically
Version.
Yeah.
yes. It's a lot of semi-famous bands. Some of them are really famous. Some of them are kind of just indie, nothing artists that are trying to make it right now. And they've been doing covers of other stuff. Some of them are super interesting.
My favorite one is Childish Gambino does one.
Oh, no way.
It's fantastic.
It's unbelievable.
What's he do? Do you guys remember?
Oh, shoot. I'll look it up while we're sitting here talking about it.
Oh, but it's great. Like, there's one band.
It's a song from the 90s. I can't remember exactly what it
Gotcha.
is. But
Yeah, there's been a couple bands too where like they do a cover. I love the song that they did, and then I look their band up and I'm like, no, that was it for me. I was good with the cover. It's fantastic. But some of them are great. There was one by Catfish and the Bottlemen, which I've never heard of. And then they did a cover of The Killers, which I've listened to before, and it was awesome. It was great.
Nice.
Huh. I'll have to look into that.
It's to me as So Into You from the 90s. I don't know if you've heard that song or not.
I think I have, but I also might be just being like, yeah.
Oh, I totally know what you're
Yeah,
talking
for
about.
sure, for sure.
No,
I'll have to listen to it.
I mean,
nonetheless.
of all the ones that have come out, I think that is by far the best one.
Some
Really?
of them are not great. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, some of
Some of
them
them are not great.
Okay.
For example, like I love, I think her name is pronounced Tash Sultana. She's Australian, and she does a cover of Electric Feel.
Yeah.
And like it's just okay. Like I love her music, like her original stuff, but like that cover is just kind of for me.
Yeah.
It's
very hit or miss. Their sound quality is fantastic, regardless.
Oh, yeah,
whoever's
for
doing
sure.
their mixing, it's great.
I mean, it's taken from like a radio show, so it's all really high quality stuff. But anyway,
Yeah.
Kurt.
We were talking about what I was gonna say for tips and bits.
Oh yeah.
What was that? Do you remember? Do you remember?
No, I have no clue.
Go back to an earlier portion of this episode, and you will hear Curtis's tips and bits. Or wait, was it even in the episode?
Oh, it's
or-
Goodfellas.
No.
It was
Oh, Goodfellas. Yeah, we
Yeah.
were talking about it. Yeah.
Oh, Goodfellas early times.
Yeah.
Yes. Jeez.
This has been a fantastic episode.
Wow.
Can I get a ride home?
You better hope so.
He lives
You
in
might
Frankfurt.
call an Uber or something. I don't
To
know.
Frankfurt?
God, to Frankfurt? No, I'm good.
$150
I'm just gonna go 5 miles an hour. It'll be okay, guys.
Exactly.
on the back roads.
I'll get there tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Let us know when you get in.
I love seeing on like Google Maps when it tells you like, it'll take you 3 hours to drive someplace, but it'll take you 7 days to walk there.
I know, yeah, like, why would I want to walk
For
there?
everybody who wants to know how long it's going to take for you to walk from Kentucky to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Yeah, so Goodfellas and Early Times. More Early Times than Goodfellas. But Goodfellas Pizza is good if you're ever in Lexington.
And we're
Kentucky.
talking Early Times Bottled and Bond, not Early Times Kentucky
Oh,
whiskey.
there is a
Yeah.
huge difference.
Huge
Oh, there is.
difference.
There
There
is.
is a
Yeah,
huge difference.
absolutely.
Early Times Bottle and Bond. Man, that stuff is good. I went to Goodfellas and got it there, and this guy, the bartender, said, "You definitely need to try this." And I was like, "Really?" But it's Early Times, like everyone thinks I don't want to try that. That's not that good, and
No,
we got
it's
it.
Amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Definitely a recommended to get. You
Yep.
should definitely go get that.
What am I going to recommend? We've been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm a lot. If you're a fan of Seinfeld and you want it to be pushed a little bit further, watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. Let's see. Oh, I have to plug the new Strangers movie. Strangers 2. It's really called The Strangers Pray at Night or
Well, there
something
you
like
go,
that.
yeah.
But my sister-in-law Emma is going to be playing Dollface, one of the main killers. It's a slasher film. So Emma's going to be Dollface. She was a recast from the first Strangers. But go check it out. It comes out on March 9th. I'm not a fan of horror movies, but I'm super excited for this. I mean, it's going to be so cool. And then I always like to recommend music from time to time, but Anderson East, he is what?
Nothing. I'm struggling. Just full out struggling after this.
I listened to an episode of a podcast called Hey Fam, which is basically just like pop culture podcast. And one of the co-hosts was telling a story about a time that he drank a Four Loko and ate an edible and then decided it was a good time to go and see his buddy do a comedy show. And he said that he just froze.
Really?
Yeah, like
That is
he
too funny.
he couldn't do anything. But anyway, Anderson East, he's an artist out of Alabama. He's labeled as being country, but he's more like old school R&B, kind of soulful. I mean, he's fantastic. He's actually going to be in Lexington in April. And like I bought tickets the day that they went on sale. I saw him open for Chris Stapleton at Riverbend.
Oh, cool.
So I think I might have recommended him on the show before, or there's an episode I recorded that hasn't been released yet where I recommended him or something, but I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, so I'm going to recommend Curb, Strangers Pray at Night, and Anderson East. So anyway, this has been a very strange episode, I feel like. Thanks for sticking with us. If you've made it this far.
I can only hope that the people at home listening are drinking with us.
Drinking with us.
The
Oh, for
same
sure.
thing with us.
Yeah.
Because
Hopefully the same proof, man. I need them to keep up. Like you were saying, I didn't know if I got enough of the 160.
I know, and then I was like, oh,
Man,
yep,
you
got
might
enough.
You might want to calm down with that.
Yeah.
We got enough. We're good.
Definitely got enough.
So I'm going to go to Swan on this question first. Swan, if people want to find you on social media, where can they find you?
I don't use a whole lot of social media other than my page that I have. So I'm at the Bourbon Finder. I post a couple days a week, open to questions if you've got stuff.
Yeah.
Even got a couple people that are Central Kentucky area that will message me and ask me like, where'd you find that bottle? And I send them there and that kind of thing. But feel free to follow me and ask questions and comment on anything. I make some polls every once in a while. Did like best beginner bourbon and that kind of thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's on Instagram.
Yeah,
Just
that's
to
on Instagram.
Yes,
clarify.
Instagram.
And if you need a bourbon finder, a bourbon guy, Swan is booking up. So
Yeah,
get in while you can.
that's gonna be tough.
Maybe.
I'm gonna have like an order list of like 50 bottles of Pappy at the end of the year.
Jeez, guys who don't know what they're talking about are
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah,
asking
just
for
like,
Pappy.
hey,
I need
We
the Pappy
this.
32. Can you find that for me? Yeah, sure. I'll work on that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll break
no.
into Buffalo Trace and pick that up for you. Kurt, what about you, bud?
Twitter, I am Kurt_Con15, and then Instagram, I am KurtCon.
Cool. Personally, I am PRitter1492 on just about everything social media wise. If you want to reach the show on Instagram and Twitter, we are at My Bourbon Shop. Facebook, it is This Is My Bourbon Shop, and you can also reach the store at bourbonshop.threadless.com. We also have a Patreon account. If you head to patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast, you can become a patron of the show for as little as $1 a month and all the way up to $50 a month. If you hit the $50 tier, we send you a special surprise. Or you get a special surprise. You're going to find out when that happens. I think I just ruined the surprise. Whatever. Please give us a rate and review on
I don't
iTunes.
think you did.
No, I probably didn't.
Yeah, you just said, like, you get a surprise, or you will get a surprise. I might have just... You didn't give anything away, just $50. And
Never mind. Are we going to be able to keep this episode?
I think so.
Okay, good.
You're going to have to take a while editing this one.
Oh, I definitely am. Give us a rate and review on iTunes or Google Play. Tell your friends about the show. If you want to get in contact with us, email us for sure. thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com. If you want to use the hashtag thisismybourbonpodcast on Instagram or Twitter, you can do that. We like to see your questions, your comments about the show. Let people know about us. We're always trying to grow and everything. But Swan, I want to say thank you so much for being here this week and bringing us good bourbon. I'm going to say mostly good bourbon.
Yeah, 2 bottles of good bourbon. We had 3.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And the third one that was questionable.
It was there.
It was present and accounted for. So I'm sure we'll have you again on in the future. It'd be
for sure.
crazy for us not to. But until then, I'm Perry.
I'm Curtis.
And this is My Bourbon Podcast.